Shalom, everyone, to another segment of Living with the Times. This week is Parshat Teitzei, and towards the end of the Parsha, one of the mitzvot mentioned is the idea of having honest weights in business. Just like today, if you would go to a store and you buy fruits and vegetables, they'll weigh your fruits and vegetables and charge you accordingly. So in the ancient times, they also had a system of weights to measure food when someone would purchase it. And so the Torah is warning us that the system of weights has to be honest, because if not, a great injustice will be done. And that is an abomination to God, when there is injustice in the world. The very next segment of the Parsha, in fact, the last part, is the idea of remembering what Amalek did to us when we came out to Egypt. Amalek is the symbolic arch enemy of the Jewish people who attacked Israel when they came into the desert, and they attacked from behind the weak, and that was the first war that we fought in the desert. So Amalek has always represented the epitome of evil, and the idea is that we have to remember what Amalek did, and we have to wipe out their memory. And in fact, reading this last segment of Teitzei, we do before Purim. And this is called Parshat Zachor, Shabbat Zachor. We always read this the Shabbat before the holiday of Purim, because Haman came from the lineage of Amalek. So Rashi says a very interesting thing. He uses the method of juxtaposition, and he says that if a person or a community or the national culture is involved with dishonesty, especially in business, you can expect an enemy like Amalek to come against you. And so this is through a juxtaposition. In the first telling of the story in Parshat Beshalach, when we came out of Egypt and Amalek attacked us, so right before it says, Vayavo Amalek, and Amalek came. So the people said, is God among us or not? And then it says, and Amalek came. So obviously we have another juxtaposition. Because they asked, where is God? Amalek came. So Rashi over there says, God says to the people, you're asking where I am? I just took you out of Egypt. I've been with you. I'm protecting you. And you ask where I am? By your life, I'm going to send a dog against you to bite you, and you will cry out, and then you'll know where I am. A very symbolic Rashi. But there's something tying these two appearances of Amalek together, both of these juxtapositions, and that's the idea of doubt. In the actual story of the war against Amalek, we see the people doubted God's presence. Is God among us or is he not? And then Amalek came. The Baal Shem Tov revealed that the numerical value of the name Amalek equals exactly the word in Hebrew for doubt, safek, 240. And so Amalek represents or is a result of doubt. So the people doubted the presence of God, and then comes Amalek. And Reb Shlomo used to teach all the time that Amalek is this voice that we hear in our head saying, you can't do it. You won't stick with it. You're not good enough. You don't really think that you're strong enough to do what you want to do. This voice is a voice of doubt. And this is what the Baal Shem was trying to teach, that Amalek is not just an outer enemy. He's also an inner enemy that we have to fight all the time. So now let's go back to this week's parsha of Teitzei. So what's the connection with false weights or false business practices and Amalek coming? So the connection is, again, doubt. That when there are false business practices and they become known, it breeds doubt and distrust among people. And in fact, when we're told that the generation of the flood, and there's a number of ideas what brought on the world being destroyed through water. And two of the ideas is that there was massive sexual practices that were not healthy, were not acceptable in God's eyes. And there was thievery among the people. There was so much thievery that no one could trust anyone else. It led to a society filled with doubt. And so in business, you have to trust the store you're going to, the people you're doing business with. And if you have a culture of dishonesty, then it breeds doubt. So that's what Rashi says, that if you or a community or the nation has dishonesty in their business, you can expect an energy like Amalek to come, because doubt will lead to this energy of Amalek. So the way to defeat Amalek, of course, is through honesty and through justice, because that's what the verse says, that dishonesty in business is a terrible injustice. And this is obviously the opposite of what God expects from humanity. So we should all be very, very careful in our business practices and in general, just our relations with other people that have to do anything with money. We have to make sure everything is clear, everything is correct, and God willing, we will defeat this energy of Amalek. And also, especially during the month of Elul, this idea of doubt in our own minds about our own abilities, this voice that is telling us we're just not good enough, we can't do it, we don't have what it takes. We have to defeat that energy and get over our own self-doubts. Bezrat Hashem, we will all be able to work on this and prepare ourselves for a new year.